The first big question in distribution is, how do you find a distributor? Okay, so now you've finished making your film. Congratulations. I'm sure it looks fantastic. And you're ready to deliver it. And what you need is a distribution deal. Distribution is basically, in simplified terms, selling your film and presenting it to the world and hopefully making money with it. The first big question in distribution is, how do you find a distributor? Yeah, although there are a lot of distributors out there, sometimes it's tricky to get to them and to get them interested in your movie. So there's a few ways that I recommend doing that. First of all, if you want to see a bunch of distributors, you can go to a film market, something like the American Film Market or the European Film Market or MIPCOM or one of the big film markets. But if you're going to go to a market like that to meet distributors, you need to have appointments first, because unless it's the last few days of the market, the distributors generally don't want you walking in, because they're usually selling it the first few days of the market, not buying or acquiring films. So if you're going to do the market thing, which I suggest you do if you want to try it out and let them know what you want to meet with them, that you have a new film and you want to present it to them, hopefully they will be receptive. All right, if you don't go to a market and you want to do this more or less online, first of all, you have to find out who these distributors are. So one of the ways that I suggest doing that is through one of the catalogs of films. There's two big ones. One is called the Film Catalog. It's an online catalog of new films that get listed, and that's free. There's another listing called Cinando, which you can subscribe to, and that also has a list of films. Even though you're looking for a distributor, the way to find a distributor is through the films, because in this listing, you will not only see the films being distributed, but you'll see who the distributors are who are distributing these films. So let's say, for instance, you have a horror film and you want to find a distributor. Go on to Film Catalog and type in the criteria. There could be 1,000 distributors on that list. You don't want to deal with 1,000. You have to narrow it down. If you were to type in, say, narrative feature film, horror, maybe 80% of the distributors would be filtered out, and 20% of them would be dealing with feature-length narrative horror films. And so now you're dealing in a universe of, say, 200 potential distributors who might be interested in handling your film. So the next thing you do is you basically say, okay, of these 200, how do I narrow it down? If you're really a keener, you can basically send emails to all of them, introducing yourself, saying you have a brand new horror film, and you give them like a 2-minute trailer or promo reel, very short. Keep it really short, with a log line and not too much information. You don't want to inundate them with a huge long email at this point, because they won't read it. You just want to get their attention, and they're going to be interested because it's a finished film. The way this industry works is half of those companies, 100 of them, are going to ghost you, meaning that you're going to send an email out and half of them will never respond. 50% will respond. So now say you're down to 100. So of that 100, they say, sure, show us what you got. So then those are the people you're going to send the movie to, because they're going to want to see the movie before they talk to you, because if you want them to represent you, they need to see what they're going to represent. Of those 100, 50% of those you're going to send a screening link, and 50% of those will ghost you, meaning that you will never hear back from them even though you sent a screening link. That's just the way the industry works. That's the average. All right, get used to it. I don't agree with it. It's crazy, but that's how it works. All right, so now you're down to 50. So of those 50, let's say 50 of them say watch your movie. But the truth is they don't actually watch your whole movie. They watch the first 10 minutes, maybe they skip through, watch the middle 10 minutes, and maybe the ending 10 minutes, just to see, is the production value good? Does it feel like it's shot properly? Is it, well crafted? Just to make sure it's a real movie. The odd distributor may watch the whole movie, but chances are they won't. But you're not going to know that. I'm just telling you because I've been a distributor, so I know what really goes on. Because they get hundreds of movies, right? And they can't literally watch, say, a 2-hour movie on 100 movies a week. So they watch bits and pieces of it. So of those 50, 25 will get back to you and say, hey, we saw your movie, even though they didn't see the whole movie, and we're interested to talk to you. All right. And the other 25 say, we saw it. Thanks a lot. Not for us. All right. So now you've weeded it down to 25. So then those 25, you say, okay, let's have a discussion, and you try to set up a meeting or a Zoom call or a phone call or something like that. And ironically, even though they said they're interested, 10 of those disappear. They ghost you at that phase. They get too busy. They're not interested anymore. So now you're down to 15. And by the way, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm setting your expectations realistically so you'll know how to deal with this process. Let's say you get 15 Zoom meetings, or, if you are ambitious and say 10 of them are in LA and you want to go to LA and meet live, then chances are they're going to want to meet over Zoom because it's quicker and easier, but maybe you'll get some live meetings. So these meetings are going to be relatively quick. Hi, how are you? What are you looking for? What kind of deal? Blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to say, I'm looking for representation. This is the kind of thing I'm looking for. And they'll say, okay, great. Let's think about it. 10 of them may write you back and say, okay, we're interested. Here's a draft distribution deal. And then you're going to look at those deals and you're going to say, is this a good deal or is it a bad deal? And then based on the deal, you might say, well, this isn't working for me. How about this, this, and this? And when you say that, 5 of those 10 are going to say, sorry, it's not negotiable. Take it or leave it. That's all we're offering. Generally, it's a bad deal the first time around. So you say, I'm not interested in a bad deal. So you go back and you say, hey, I'm interested in this, this, and this. Can we talk about it? So 5 of them say, sure, let's have a discussion, even though they might not intend to give you that deal, but at least it's a discussion. All right. And let's say they all say, okay, we're interested. We're willing to work with you. Here's the deal. You go back and forth a little bit on the negotiation and say 4 of them say, okay, we're willing to give you this deal. So how do you know which one to go with? So the way you do that is you go back onto their website and you check them out on their website. All right. You see what kind of films they've done. Do they present films well? Do you like the way, the chemistry looks? Is this going to be a good partner? Do you feel good about, can you envision your film on their website? And then you do the final thing. Then you go get a reference. But what you do to get a reference is you go on their website and you look at, say, 1 or 2 similar films, or you go onto IMDb and you check out who produced those films, and then you contact the producer of those films and you say, hey, I see that you're dealing with distribution company ABC. I'm talking to them. Would you mind just telling me what your experience has been? I'm looking for a reference. Are they a good company to deal with? Have they treated you properly? Have they paid you what they said they were going to? Do you recommend them? And, some of the producers will ghost you and don't want to talk about it, but most of them will be friendly because they're in the same boat as you are. So they'll say, sure, I'll tell you about them. And they'll either give a good reference or a bad reference. And you can use that reference as sort of the final check. What if you get 2 good ones and 2 bad ones? Then you got to make a decision. Maybe they treated 2 of these producers well and the experience was a good one and the other had bad experiences. But you're going to have to make a decision like you are in anything in life. So the rest of it is gut. Hopefully you find what you're looking for. You find a credible distributor that you think will be honest, that you feel like the chemistry's good and that you feel like you'll have a decent relationship with. And the bottom line, like any relationship in life, any business relationship, any personal relationship, the most important component is trust. If you feel like you can trust these people and they've demonstrated to you that they have the skills and the expertise to actually handle your film properly, you found yourself a distributor. That's how you do it. Now we're going to talk about distribution deals. What is the difference between a distributor, a sales rep, a producer's rep, and an aggregator? So a distributor